Hello everyone, I'm Benjamin Contreras, and welcome to a very special episode of Jasper Gap Productions, because I'm outside. It's been like like 2 or 3 years since I last posted the video here in the backyard. But yeah, I just felt like this would be nice, and a good way to start off my series of Xbox 360 game reviews. And if you saw my update video where I announced it, then you would know that our first review is going to be that of Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, and a little bit of a retelling of Assassin's Creed Rogue, which I'll get near the end of the video. But majorly, I'm going to be talking about Black Flag. Now, this is considered to be, by most people, to be one of the best, if not the best, in the Assassin's Creed series, right next to, I believe, Assassin's Creed 2, one of the originals. But these two are the first ones that I've played and are the ones that got me into the series. Now, I can't really say that much in terms of the story, since I've only put a certain amount of hours into it. So this is mostly going to be talking about how the game is played and what you're pretty much doing while you're playing the game. Now, of course, for those who don't know, the Assassin's Creed series is based around, the major story is set in the real world, in a sort of futuristic setting where this company gets these ancestors of historical figures, in this game's case being Edward, and they use this contraption called the Animus to pretty much make those memories real, as if the person in the modern world is actually their ancestor. Now, as you can no doubt tell from the cover of the game, Black Flag is definitely major themed around pirates, and if you're a fan of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, then you'll most likely enjoy this game, because you'll be spending a majority of your time sailing in pirate ships, as the overall world of Black Flag is, instead of being in one giant area, it's on several smaller islands, and to get from one area to the next, whether it be for going through the story or just going around doing what you like, which is the thing that I usually like doing, you're mostly going to be spending your time on boats sailing around from one area to the next. Now, for those who haven't played this game and are a bit worried that this is sort of something similar to the Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, where you spent a majority of your time sailing as well, you don't have to be so worried, because unlike Wind Waker, for the most part, there's always an area that, whether it be small or big, that you can travel to, and you'll most likely find either some treasure to find, some other collectibles like weapons that are found in certain areas, animals that you can hunt and gather for materials, so you can do things like upgrade your stats, such as giving yourself more health, more attack power, or being able to carry more than one type of weapon. And also, things that you could find are characters to assassinate. As you can tell, it wouldn't be an Assassin's Creed game without having people that you can of course kill. And luckily, there are several areas in the game where you're able to find bounties, where you have a specific enemy, you go towards them, and you try your best not to get spot by them. And if you do, you're going to be spending a lot of your time getting rid of all the enemies around them. And depending on whether or not you're an expert at the game or you're very new to the game like I was, you're probably gonna die a couple of times. And that especially goes to when you're sailing around in boats, because not only can you assassinate people on land, you're also able to, for the most part, do that on your ships, as you will encounter other pirates or soldiers while you're sailing around, and you can either bypass them if you don't want to deal with them, or if they're weak enough so that you can kill them, you can attack them, raid their ship, and either recruit them for more team members, get any sort of treasure, or use their parts to repair your ship in case your ship was badly damaged in the fight. And that is actually a whole lot of fun. One of the things that I do like doing is sailing around and defeating as many sort of ships that I can, or at the very least try, because if you're not prepared, you are pretty much gonna get your butt handed to you by the enemies if you aren't prepared. Which is why you want to do things like upgrading your ships, attack, how much ammunition you can hold, the ship's overall size and defense, so that you can hold more crew members, and those sort of things. Now, those are a lot of the things that I liked about the game. Now, here are a couple of things. There's only one real thing that I don't like about the game, and this also goes for Assassin's Creed Rogue. I'm not sure if I mentioned this in the review, but despite it being pretty much an open world game, there are certain areas that you're not able to make progress in, or at least a good amount of progress, until you further progress with the story. And for me personally, that sort of deteriorates the amount of fun I can have, as since I'm only allowed to go to certain areas, and if I want to access a new area that I'm extremely curious about, then I'm pretty much going to have to go through the main missions in the story, which I want to have a problem with if I really paid attention to it that much, because I don't really play games like these for their story or any other sort of open world game, even though, especially for something like Assassin's Creed, the story is something that you do want to pay attention to. But it's just not really my cup of tea. I'm usually playing these games so I can go around and have fun, either attacking enemies or going on side missions, and then, if I have nothing else to do, I'll go do one of the main missions. But and also, I mentioned in my review of Assassin's Creed Rogue that I didn't like the idea that this whole franchise is anyway. One thing I mentioned in my review of this game was that I didn't like the idea that this whole world with all these characters that are all interesting in their own way, especially the main characters, are all just simulations, and another major part of the story is it taking place in modern times. And while I would still prefer it to just be in these sort of fantasy kind of settings, I don't mind the modern day scenes as much as I used to. I'm able to I can tolerate them a little bit more. And since I also managed to complete this game And as a matter of fact, one of the first Xbox 360 games that I actually ended up completing, I'm able to give you guys my full opinion on it. And overall, I think I had a good time with this one. But I'm quite torn on which one of these I actually prefer more, because I feel like this game has a little bit more going for it, but I like the overall style of this game. Assassin's Creed Rogue has a lot more of a mellowed out and dimmer sort of color scheme compared to compared to Black Flag, which is especially noticeable since you're again spending most of your time in the ocean. It's where you're around sailing where the game's color scheme really begins to shine. I feel like this is a lot more vibrant compared to Assassin's Creed Rogue, especially when near the beginning of the game, where it's most noticeable is when it's extremely bright out in game, and you look down and see the water. The water just looks so vibrant, and it really sticks out from the rest of the game. But still, I do enjoy these games equally for the most part. I won't necessarily be giving them a rating, but if you want to start with one of these games, I recommend you start with Black Flag first, because I think that if I put a little bit more time into it, I'll probably enjoy this more than I did with Rogue. But I still really enjoy these games, and if you're an Assassin's Creed fan and you haven't gotten a chance to play them, then I definitely recommend you play it. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this first episode of my Xbox 360 review series, and if I had my bucket of games with me, I would give you guys a preview of what is going to come next, but I guess that can wait until later. But again, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and yeah, until next time, I'm not quite sure if I'm going to be outside again, but I would like to do more videos in this sort of setting, and make sure to tell me how you felt about me being here in the comments section down below. And until next time, I'm Benjamin Contreras, and